There are forces at play you cannot comprehend, energies older than recorded time. Sometimes the greatest terror lies not in what we seek, but in what has been deliberately hidden from us. Tonight, we confront a relic shrouded in dread, a text whispered about in hushed tones, capable of twisting souls and tearing open portals to unspeakable realms. A book so infamous, its very name conjures shadows. We speak of the cursed book of Saint Cyprian, the dark relic that terrified the world, and continues to do so, because it exposes a truth few dare to acknowledge. This isn't just about old paper and ink. This is about the allure of forbidden power, the desperate yearning to control the uncontrollable, and the catastrophic price of such ambition. For centuries, this grimoire, or rather the many texts bearing its chilling name, has been both a beacon and a curse. It beckons those who crave dominion over unseen forces. It curses those who are naive enough to believe such power comes without an unimaginable cost. The whispers of the forbidden grimoire. Imagine a time when the line between prayer and incantation blurred, when the devout sought miracles and the desperate sought answers from any source, divine or diabolical. This is the fertile ground from which the legends of the Book of Saint Cyprian emerged. Not a singular unified tome, but a shadowy collection of grimoires, each claiming lineage to a figure both revered and reviled. They circulated in the dark corners of Europe, passed hand to hand, copied in secret, always in hushed tones, always with a tremor of fear. These weren't academic curiosities. They were dangerous tools, instructions for summoning entities, for binding wills, for altering reality. The very idea of such a book existing, let alone being used, sent shivers down the spine of the church and common folk alike. It was often viewed as the ultimate blasphemy, a direct challenge to divine order. Yet, its power was undeniable, or at least, the belief in its power was. The legends tell of unimaginable wealth, unconditional love, absolute revenge against your tormentors. The Book of Cyprian promised all these things, but always with a dark undertone, a sense that the price demanded would be far greater than any earthly reward. It's a fundamental human flaw, isn't it? This insatiable desire for control, for a shortcut to power, to bend the universe to our will. We chafe against our limitations, we rage against our helplessness, and in that desperation, the whispers of forbidden knowledge begin to sound like salvation. This book, or rather, the collection of grimoire attributed to Saint Cyprian, became a symbol of humanity's darkest desires. The urge to pry open doors that should remain shut, to traffic with entities that dwell in the abyssal spaces beyond our comprehension, to risk everything for a fleeting taste of dominion. It speaks to that primal urge within us, the one that whispers, what if I could simply take what I want? What if I could command the very spirits of darkness? It's a terrifying question. The Book of Cyprian offers answers. This book's existence is a testament to humanity's enduring fascination with the unseen, with the spirits that walk amongst us just out of sight, with the potent energies that underlie our mundane reality. If you find yourself drawn to these deeper questions, to understanding the true mechanics of existence beyond the superficial, then know this: there are vast repositories of knowledge waiting. Knowledge that challenges every preconceived notion. Knowledge that demands a shift in your entire perspective. Consider joining a community that actively seeks these truths. A simple gesture of clicking that subscribe button can unlock a continuous flow of insights. It means you are ready to venture further with us, into realms few dare to tread, where the secrets of ages are unveiled. The tales surrounding this grimoire are not mere folklore. They are echoes of a fundamental human struggle, the struggle between light and shadow within the soul. the inherent desire for power, and the terrifying consequences when that power is sought without wisdom, without reverence, and without understanding of the cosmic balance. The beckoning shadow of power. The Book of Saint Cyprian is not one book. It is a family of grimoires, each version slightly different, each claiming to originate from the same shadowy source. Most commonly, it's attributed to Saint Cyprian of Antioch. But here's where the truth starts to twist. The real Saint Cyprian of Antioch was a 3rd century pagan sorcerer, a man deeply learned in the occult arts. He dabbled in necromancy, demonology, and all manner of forbidden practices. Yet, he eventually converted to Christianity. He became a bishop, a martyr, a saint. How then did his name become affixed to a book of black magic? This is where the narrative becomes truly fascinating. It's a deliberate subversion, a calculated twist, taking a figure who overcame the dark arts and associating him with their mastery. This duality is critical. It suggests a deeper psychological operation at play. The idea that someone so steeped in darkness could not only return from it, but could also leave behind the very keys to that abyss. It preys on a very human desire to master what was once feared, to control the very demons that once tormented. The contents of these Cyprianic grimoires are truly chilling. They detail rituals for summoning demons, not just generic spirits, but specific entities, their names, their sigils, the offerings they demand. They describe how to make pacts, unbreakable agreements with infernal powers, promises of wealth, love, or destruction, in exchange for your soul, your sanity, or your very essence. It's not allegory here. It's presented as practical instruction, step-by-step guides to the deepest pits of spiritual manipulation. Beyond demonic conjurations, the books delve into necromancy, calling forth the spirits of the dead, not just to communicate, but to command, to use them for mundane tasks, or for more sinister purposes, love spells, binding spells, curses of unimaginable potency, all presented with a cold, clinical precision that belies the spiritual havoc they promise to unleash. This is not about metaphor. This is about real forces. Forces that are as real as the air you breathe, only far less visible, far more subtle, and infinitely more dangerous if misunderstood. Think about the desperation that would drive someone to such a text. The overwhelming desire for love, the gnawing ache of revenge, the crushing weight of poverty, the need for answers when all conventional paths have failed. The Book of Cyprian offers itself as the ultimate solution, a direct line to powers that can bypass all earthly obstacles, but it fails to mention the cost, the unseen threads that bind you, not to the power you seek, but to the entities you invoke. It's a master class in temptation, offering the world, while subtly demanding your soul. The price of forbidden knowledge. The price for dabbling with such texts is rarely paid in coin. It's paid in a currency far more precious, your spiritual integrity, your mental clarity, your very connection to the divine light. People who delve into these grimoires, who attempt to enact the rituals, often find their lives not enhanced, but shattered. The Book of Saint Cyprian, like many such grimoires, offers power that is illusory. It's a power that ultimately consumes the one who wields it. The psychological toll is immense. Imagine inviting entities into your life that thrive on chaos, on fear, on despair. How long do you think your mind can withstand such influence? The subtle shifts in your perception, the insidious whispers that begin to sound like your own thoughts, the erosion of your empathy, the growing isolation. This is not just theoretical danger. This is a very real, very insidious process that has played out in countless lives throughout history. Those who seek to command demons often find themselves commanded by them. It's an unspoken rule of the esoteric underworld. The hunter becomes the hunted. Consider the human psyche. It is a delicate instrument. It is designed for connection, for growth, for light. When you purposefully open yourself to forces that embody the inverse of these principles, you invite distortion. You invite a corruption that seeps into your very being. What might appear as a sudden stroke of luck or a victory in your favor often carries a hidden cost, a debt that accrues unseen until it demands a payment you are utterly incapable of making. This is the truth about curses. They aren't just external forces. They are often internalized, self-inflicted wounds that fester in the spiritual realm. The Book of Cyprian, then, is not just a collection of spells. It is a psychological mirror. It reflects the darkest corners of human desire. It preys on vulnerability. It whispers promises that only infernal forces can deliver, and they deliver them, always, with a twist. The love you sought becomes an obsession. The wealth you craved comes at the cost of your relationships, your peace, your freedom. The revenge you enacted turns you into the very monster you sought to destroy. This is the bitter irony of forbidden knowledge. It grants you power over others, but enslaves you to yourself and to the forces you thought you commanded. True spiritual strength does not come from binding entities. It comes from mastering yourself, from understanding your own shadow and integrating it rather than projecting it onto external forces. The Book of Cyprian offers a shortcut, and every shortcut in the spiritual realm leads to a dead end, or worse, a trap. This is the profound psychological insight. The curses in these books aren't merely in the spells. They're in the very human impulse that drives one to seek them. The saint, the sorcerer, the lie. The greatest deception related to the Book of Saint Cyprian lies in its very namesake. As we touched upon, the real Cyprian of Antioch was not a dark sorcerer who penned a grimoire of black magic. He was a pagan philosopher and magician who, by his own accounts, was deeply immersed in the occult. He commanded spirits. He performed feats of magic. He sought to influence reality through arcane rituals. But his story took a dramatic turn. He encountered a Christian virgin named Justina. He tried to use his dark arts to force her to love him. Every spell failed. Every demon he sent was repelled by her faith. This led him to a profound realization. There was a power greater than any he had ever commanded, a true divine force that stood against all the legions of hell. Cyprian converted. He renounced his magic. He burned his books. He became a devout Christian, eventually rising to become a bishop and ultimately a martyr for his faith. He is revered as Saint Cyprian in many Christian traditions. So how did his name become attached to the very kind of books he publicly denounced and burned? This is the lie. This is the deliberate misinformation. It's a subtle but powerful piece of psychological warfare. By attaching the name of a saint who overcame the dark arts to a book of dark arts, it does two things. First, it lends an air of legitimacy to the grimoire. If even a saint's name is on it, perhaps it contains genuine ancient wisdom, even if it's dangerous. Second, and more insidiously, it hints at a perverse kind of authority. It suggests that the true power lies not in renouncing the darkness, but in mastering it. Even if a saint supposedly did so, it twists the narrative of redemption into one of covert power. It's a sophisticated piece of spiritual manipulation. The true story of Cyprian is a warning against the very practices his namesake grimoire advocates. It's a narrative of liberation from demonic chains. Yet the grimoire uses his name to imply the opposite, that the chains can be forged and wielded. This inversion is crucial to understanding the spiritual battles waged not just in ancient times, but in the present day. There are forces that seek to twist truth, to pervert sacred narratives, to lead seekers down paths of illusionary power. The Book of Saint Cyprian then becomes a symbol of this ongoing spiritual deception, a testament to how easily sacred stories can be co-opted and repurposed for destructive ends. This is far more terrifying than a simple curse. It's a systematic dismantling of truth. The mirror of your soul's desire. The enduring legacy of the Book of Saint Cyprian is not just its notoriety, but its reflection of a perennial human craving. It's a mirror held up to our deepest desires and fears. The desire for control, for revenge, for absolute power. The fear of helplessness, of insignificance, of being subject to forces beyond our command. The book promises to quell these fears, to fulfill these desires, but it does so by inviting you to trade one set of chains for another, far heavier ones. This text, in its various incarnations, continues to circulate today, not just as historical curiosities, but as active tools for those still desperate enough to seek answers in the shadows. It fuels urban legends. It inspires fiction. But more importantly, it remains a potent symbol within the occult underground, a reminder of the path to power through pacts, through coercion of entities. It forces us to confront the question, what would you sacrifice for power? What lines would you cross to achieve your deepest, most hidden desires? The terror associated with the Book of Saint Cyprian isn't solely about demons and curses. It's about the chilling realization of what humans are willing to do, what depths they are willing to plumb, when pushed to the brink of desperation or consumed by ambition. It lays bare the fragile nature of our morality. It exposes the thin veil between our conscious ethical choices and the seductive whispers of unseen forces. These whispers promise much, but always deliver a perverse caricature of your desire. Ultimately, the true curse of a book like Saint Cyprian's lies not in its magical potency, but in its capacity to awaken and amplify the darkness that already resides within the human heart. It does not create evil. It merely provides a roadmap for its manifestation. It illuminates the terrifying potential within each of us to seek external solutions for internal emptiness, to grasp at power that ultimately diminishes us. The real Saint Cyprian found liberation in renouncing the dark arts. The grimoire bearing his name beckons you to embrace them. This profound dichotomy is the true lesson here. You stand at a crossroads. One path offers the illusion of power through manipulation and coercion of external forces. The other, the path less traveled, offers true spiritual sovereignty through internal purification and alignment with the divine. The choice is always yours, but be clear about the cost. Understanding these ancient grimoires, these forbidden texts, and the entities they describe isn't about dabbling in darkness. It's about discerning the truth. It's about recognizing the spiritual landscape we inhabit. If you seek to truly understand the nature of demonic forces, the hidden histories of occult traditions, and the profound esoteric knowledge that underlies all of existence, there are deeper avenues to explore. We have compiled a specific series of discussions on these very topics. You can find a dedicated playlist on esoteric knowledge and demonology, with a direct link placed conveniently in the pinned comment below this video. Explore these resources. Do not fear the knowledge, fear the ignorance. The Book of Saint Cyprian stands as a stark warning. It is a relic, not just of ancient superstition, but of an enduring spiritual reality. A reality where choices have profound consequences. A reality where the unseen forces are always at play. It reminds us that true power comes not from commanding spirits, but from mastering the self. It comes from understanding that the greatest battles are fought not in dusty libraries or shadowed ritual spaces, but within the very chambers of your own heart. What hidden desires does the mention of a forbidden book stir within your own soul? What unseen forces do you believe are shaping your life or holding you back? Share your thoughts, not just idle speculation, but your deepest reflections on the allure of forbidden knowledge and the true nature of power. Let us continue to unveil these truths together.